start. It's okay. Welcome to Tees Valley Combined Authority Overview and Scrutiny Committee, and welcome to Hilary, who's standing in for Tony. Sorry. Since our previous meeting, I've had meetings with the RRC, which is the Independent Remuneration Committee. I hate saying that word. The committee has been tasked to recommend a scheme of allowances for committees, including the Mayor's allowance. The IRC is expected to have a report ready for Cabinet decision on the 26th of this month. I've also attended Cabinet and was on the interview panel for a permanent monitoring officer post, which we didn't fill. I've had meetings with Tom and others in an attempt to understand the government's extension to the current best value notice. There was very few details of when the government will next review the best value notice, which isn't ideal for us as a committee or indeed the authority as it continues through its improvement journey. I've also been exploring the improvement board, been trying to understand its workings, as it's been very different to my experience with improvement boards, especially the one that we had in Middlesbrough. Connor forwarded members with my thoughts via email, and of course nothing will be done without the committee's approval, so we have to be sure about that. We won't be writing to anybody outside the combined authority without the whole committee's approval. So we don't have time to conclude anything on this meeting. We'll have to hold on to the next one because we do have a tight schedule. So we'll start with the meeting proper. Have we got any apologies for absence?
Yeah, so as noted, Councillor Riordan has submitted apologies with Councillor is attending on his behalf, and Councillor Branson submitted apologies also.
Thank you. We've got three new members of the committee. We've got Councillor Wayne Davies from Redcar and Cleveland Borough Council, who hasn't attended today, Councillor Nick Anderson, Hartlepool Borough Council, and Councillor Peter Story, Hartlepool Borough Council. So there's three new members of the committee, so hopefully we'll see them soon.
Lost a seat, didn't she?
Any declarations of interest? No, thank you. Can we approve the minutes of the previous meeting held on the 15th of April? Yeah, thank you.
I'd like to make a comment, if I may,
yeah, of course.
Chair. On the minutes, under the Chair's report, it states that the committee noted that the best value notice has been extended with the Chief Executive upon his return from leave. It hasn't been extended. The Tees Valley Combined Authority is still waiting to hear from the MHCLG, the government department, as to whether or not it will stop or whether it will be extended. So it hasn't been extended.
Right. I think it was press releases, was there not, Jeanette, that has been extended?
No, it hasn't been extended.
So it's not officially then?
It hasn't been extended. We just haven't heard from
Right.
MHCLG.
Right. That's news to me, because obviously we've all read in the press that it was extended. I don't know where the press got it from.
No, it hasn't been extended, and I'm surprised it wasn't corrected at the meeting, because it hasn't been extended.
Okay, well, okay, thank you for that. Can we put that adjustment in?
It's not being rude, but can we have an introduction on what who the lady is?
That's Jeanette, haven't you met Jeanette in the previous meeting?
No.
Oh, right, okay. Sorry, I presumed everybody had already met you, Jeanette, at the previous meeting.
No, they haven't.
Okay, sorry.
Just you.
Apologies for that. Yeah, this is Jeanette, who's currently the monitoring officer of the Tees Valley Combined Authority. Jeanette is standing in until we have a permanent monitoring officer.
Okay, welcome Jeanette. Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you too.
Chair, can I ask
Andy,
a question?
yeah.
What does that mean in regards to the complexion of where we are with this then? I mean, the complexion in the reading of it has been extended, which suggests that nothing's been done, or nothing's happening, or the TVCA are still under a cloud, if you like. And that clearly isn't the case if that's different.
I don't know if Jeanette can answer that question.
Well, yeah, and Sarah Brackenborough as well will be able to add to that, I'm sure. But the Tees Valley Combined Authority currently have a best value notice and we meet regularly with the Independent Advisory Board, which report to the government department and support us with the journey of improvement. And in fact, we've made a lot of progress. Something like 70% of all of the recommendations have now been implemented. So we're virtually there. There's only about another 4 or 5 that need to be implemented. And we're waiting for the government to advise whether or not the best value notice has been lifted. And if it hasn't been lifted, or they want to extend it, then how long will they extend it? They just haven't got back to us as yet. I know the Chief Executive and the Director of Finance are meeting with them in London as we speak. They're there today. So we're hoping to get a view from government, but we haven't received that yet. And what they said was they were really busy with the elections and they'd get back to us after the elections. But we still haven't heard from them. And I would say, don't believe everything you read in the press. I'd like to think it was all accurate, but that bit certainly isn't accurate because we haven't had an answer one way or the other. But we are making huge progress.
Well, thank you for that. We've got the press in the room, so I'm sure that'll be updated. Thank you for that.
Can I just for clarification? I understand, and yes, you're right. There wasn't a date put on the extension or the date moved particularly. You just said we're not ready yet. But my also understanding is the feeling from Best Value Review is that Tees Valley Combined Authority is not ready yet or achieved enough of its targets in a way that is acceptable to this review. And that's why they haven't sort of said, yes, we're happy now, move on. There's still lots of them to understand, is my understanding. Is that correct?
Well, I think that we just haven't heard from the MHCLG, the government department, and they're the people that make the decision. But as monitoring officer, I'm confident that we've made huge progress. I don't know if Sarah wants to come in because Sarah and her team lead on the improvements, so she knows firsthand.
Yeah, I'm going to bring Sarah in now. Thank you.
Yeah, I think what I would add is that the way Best Value Notice process works is that the notice doesn't expire. So when the 12-month initial period is kind of, we come to the 12 months, it just continues until we have next steps. So it has not been extended officially by MHCLG. That is a ministerial decision. But ultimately, unfortunately, I think the date aligned with Easter recess for Parliament. So we were told that it would be, a decision would be made to the other side. Jeanette is correct. There is no formal extension until they tell us what the next steps are. But it does not expire. That is how it works. It just is in place until we have next steps from MHCLG, and it's a ministerial decision. So our understanding is advice has gone up to ministers, and that we will be informed of that decision when they have made it. But we continue to work on all of the things in the improvement plan, as Jeanette said. Continue to work with Independent Advisory Board. We continue to, we will bring an update to Cabinet at the end of June. But formally, we have not had our next steps from MHCLG.
So we just have to wait then, basically.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Andy. So
just to follow on from Councillor Heatherling, there isn't even any formal recommendations or anything that you have heard or anybody in the TVCA has heard that we have not met anything in the standard. It's just speculation, basically.
Yes, so from, the way the process works is that MHCLG, the Best Value Notice Department, as civil servants, they will take soundings from a number of places to put that advice up to ministers, and that will include, other departments in MHCLG, it will include the Independent Advisory Board's thoughts, but ultimately that is the Best Value Notice, it's their department, they put the advice up to the minister. We are not cited on the advice that they have given to the minister.
Yeah. Clarification, there isn't anything that's out there, it's basically that will be held within the government agency just now until such time as something comes out.
Yes.
Everything else is pure speculation.
Yes.
Thank you.
Could we just pretend that this is a ticky box exercise, and at the next meeting you could present us with the ticked box and the unticked boxes, and then we know what the state of play is.
But I would hope by the next meeting we would have heard something by then, because everyone's really in a bit of we're in limbo really, the army.
Yeah. I mean, I know it sounds a bit facetious on my part, but this is essentially what this committee really needs to know, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Just on that, Chair, it was right there about the tick box thing. It's basically, it feels like this paper exercise, which is what it feels like, is quite easily to move along with. It was a bit like the Go review, bit paper exercise, these 28 things, and that was, I'm not happy with that, to be fair. And this best value review, there's no feeling out there. In fact, I personally have no feeling that the best value review is making an ape of the difference to openness, transparency and how things are done. It doesn't feel that way. It's all right, you know, writing a bit of paper and making a tick box, but where's the tangibility in what we've allegedly done so far? I don't feel it, I don't see it. And I know it's difficult. It's not like fixing potholes with a lot of authority. It's a bigger picture about investment and about the other stuff that goes with it. But we still can't, best value, we've still got issues around STDC and development corporations. We've still got issues about openness and transparency with the airport and the finances there. There's lots of other issues around that there's no openness and transparency on, that even this group, as a scrutiny group, you know, have a right to look at. And the other thing is, the other thing that you feel when you come in, I love coming here because I love meeting the members and I love the discussion, I love the things, but I don't feel like it's home, if that makes sense. With this, we're all elected members, volunteers for this committee, or in some cases the finger's pointed and you get the short straw and what it is. But I enjoy the stuff we do here, but it doesn't feel like we're part of the Tees Valley Combined Authority as a critical friend. We're treated like outsiders on this committee. There's no, I mean, need to say getting in. It's all right you going in and having meetings with leaders and stuff. And remember, this is scrutiny, not cabinet, and the way the meetings are done should be done differently. I have no problem with you doing that. I appreciate you doing that. And then it comes back to us and we think it. But you know, we come every week. Oh, we're meeting today with so no. We don't know anything about that till you've done it. And now we know, then we can do something about it. But the integration of this committee into the Tees Valley is not there because there's no openness and transparency. It's not like being 70% clear on our best value things. There's only this little way to go. I'm no wiser on where we are as a scrutiny member. How often have we been? You know, I'd sat down and had Tom and them here, and the only topic of conversation has been best value and what's to be achieved and how it's going to get there. What are the issues? How are we dealing with the issues? Oh, well, I've wrote a nice note and ticked it. I think it's bigger than that. And I honestly, my personal opinion is, I don't think this Tees Valley Combined Authority is ready yet to come out of this best value review. And unless they're going to come out of it and go into something more in depth, you know, get the National Audit Officer. Let's clear this, the innuendos and the suspicion and the short stories up completely. There isn't another, I don't believe there's another combined authority in the country that's been had done to it. Well, this authority's had done to it. And then you've got to sit back and say, so why has that happened? Why? Andy Burnham, I shouldn't mention because there's an election going on. Other authorities, you read their stuff, you pick the stuff up and it doesn't say, they've had an investigation by Michael Grove, ordered this, inquiry. They're under a best value review, they're not.
Right.
So things are, right, I'm just saying,
yeah, no,
we need a bigger debate on this best value review. We're not in a position to say, let's ask the government to stop it, let's write to Tom, Dick and Harry and say it's time to do this. We need the information for us to make an informed decision on what the position is around that best value review.
Yeah, no, I appreciate totally everything you say there. Most of the stuff for the best value review is in cabinet papers, and the cabinet papers are available for everyone to read, including...
Don't tell me you're going to have to suck eggs in, I'll read the cabinet papers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, this combined authority isn't the first and it certainly won't be the last combined authority that's had best value notice served on them. So we're not the first, and we certainly won't be the last. That's another point. Now, sadly, we have half an hour for this meeting, and we've done 15 minutes on this. We haven't really started the meeting yet, so we.
Are we quorums?
Yeah, we are quorum. Can we put this off to the next committee, and the next meeting, and we'll actually have it as an agenda item, and hopefully we might even have heard something back from the government by then on what the plans are for the best value notice.
Question on that, I agree with that. Question on that, is it a big enough an item to make it a single item agenda?
Sorry, Jeanette, yes?
Chair, may I just say that really concerns me to hear members say that they don't feel there's any openness or transparency, and I'd certainly like to talk to you after the meeting, if I may, because I haven't witnessed that since I've been here. I've witnessed nothing but good governance and openness and transparency, and I'm pleased that you're going to look at this as an agenda item at the next meeting.
Okay, very quickly, Jim, we're going to move on. Andy, sorry.
Yeah, I'm at the opposite end of the spectrum for council, just to balance it up, because I think there are questions to be asked.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, clears that. I think a lot of the stuff where the innuendo and everything all has came from, I thought we'd get through all of that, not all. I thought we were through that because everybody agreed 3 meetings ago that we would move forward, and that all of the investigations that happened had cleared everything other than the points that were there, and then the best value notice came for something else. People are working on the best value notice. I don't think we have a decision on whether the best value notice gets lifted or no. I think that's government. We have to know what's going on, obviously, as Ian said. But I certainly think we're a lot more open than I first came. When I first came here, I was bemused because I never heard anything, nothing to ask people what was going on. Now I think we're getting there, and I'm quite perturbed that Ian feels as strongly about that, because I thought we had moved forward, and it's not a personal thing, it's a viewpoint. I just thought it would be balanced to say that.
Can I say, as chair, I have a meeting fortnightly with Tom Bryant, and the vice chair always come along with us and ask Tom anything, and he always tells you exactly what you want to know. Same as Connor, we can any member of this committee can ask Connor any question, and you can investigate and come back with the answer. And exactly the same as Sarah. There's nobody not approachable in the combined authority, so I find it strange what Ian said.
I don't find it strange. I've been here 10 years.
Yeah.
And I spoke at the last meeting and said, yes, it finally feels different. And it does.
Yeah.
But we're 10 years down the road, and it's not that much different. But 10 years of being blocked, argued against and stopped, or found excuses for not doing things. A couple of years ago we had a meeting, and I thought the light had come at the end of the tunnel. We had a meeting with advice and stuff was given to us, like, right, we got there, we've got this. Never happened. 2 years, 3 years maybe, never happened. And don't get me wrong, things are different, things are better, but we're not there.
No, I don't think, even Jeanette said,
but 10 years,
we're not 70% of the way there, so there's still a way to go. So
that's my frustration.
Yeah, no, I understand
10
that.
years in this chair, we're not there.
Yeah, it's everyone's frustration. Right, very quickly, if we can, because we need to go on to the agenda. I'll give Jim a chance first.
Yeah, I suppose my position is somewhere between those two viewpoints. I've not been here as long as other people, but I have been sort of knowledgeable of the combined authority since its inception, and taking it through our council to sign up to it when I was deputy leader. I'm unsure as to what progress has been made. There's nothing. There's not a lot. You can nail down.
That's probably the good reason to have it as an agenda item.
Yeah, and I'd welcome us looking at that and having a report of these are the issues identified, this is the progress, and then we might feel more confident in where to next.
I agree with you, Lynn. Very quickly, if we can.
Yeah, I will be quick. I think Jim's outlined pretty much what I would have said. The only comment I would make is when Ian said about Tees work and STDC and the airport, we don't feel like when we ask questions about either of them that we get any real
Well,
in-depth answers.
Okay, well,
So they're the two for me.
can I say that them three are all male development corporations,
I
and
get
in
that.
15 minutes we've got the mayor in, so we can ask him. Yeah?
Well,
I think-
you're saying we have about, what, 5 minutes each of max to
Well, we've got an hour with him,
I'm
so...
talking about more in-depth information.
Well, we can do that, absolutely, yeah, no, absolutely.
On the two areas.
But the problem is that with the Overview and Scrutiny Committee of the Combined Authority, we're not the Overview and Scrutiny Committee of any of the development corporations, and I think that's been, you know, we've had legal advice on that, and we've been told that we can't investigate that. We can investigate officers that work in, TDCA officers that work within the development corporations, but that's our limit. Sadly, anyway, that's where we are. Right, I'm just going to move on with the. So we'll put that in an agenda meeting for the next committee meeting, but we'll move on and I'll move on to governance items, which is Connor.
Yeah, if you don't mind. All in all, right. So as you'll be aware, as part of the introduction to terms of reference, we set this meeting up so that we could appoint in advance of the AGM for the 2026-27 municipal year. Obviously, since we scheduled this meeting, we have obviously lost the thematic lead and the vice chair, so there are some vacant appointments to consider. I will take the report as read, and as stated within the recommendations. Recommendation 1 is to consider whether to reappoint the chair for the 26-27 municipal year. I should just clarify on this point, the chair would remain in place until the AGM, and then if there was a new appointee, they would start from that point. Recommendation B is to consider whether to reappoint the existing thematic leads for the 26-27 municipal year. Recommendation C is to consider and agree the appointment of members to any relevant positions for the 26-27 municipal year. And D, where reappointments are not agreed, consider the nomination and appointment of alternative members to those roles for the 26-27 municipal year. I guess, obviously with the conflict in regards to the chair itself, I will open up for recommendation 1 to consider whether to reappoint the chair for the 26-27 municipal year.
Can I ask a question?
Of course, can you?
Why aren't we doing this at the AGM, which is what the AGM is for?
So, traditionally, how the TDCA AGM has worked, it sits at the end of June, and then we don't have the first ONS meeting until the next year. All of the members that are currently sitting here are ratified and will be sitting on ONS in the next municipal year also. So we would be without a chair until the September meeting, and we wouldn't have the thematic leads put in post. So this is our opportunity to say before AGM, these are the people that we want, so appoint them as these positions.
Right, can you clarify me the term of the chair?
It's a year.
Right, so if you're appointed in September, you should stay till September. So did we appoint...
It's until...
I'm not against it,
No,
I'm procedural, I'm looking at procedural.
Yeah.
If the chair's appointed in June last year, the chair till June...
It's only until AGM.
Right.
So it resets
if the
with
chair
the
was
AGM.
appointed at the AGM last year, which was when? September?
June.
June.
It's a cabinet AGM that point.
Right, you cleared my point for me. I understand where you're coming from now. All right?
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you.
All this committee can do is make recommendations and the cabinet have to
I
accept
get
it.
it, I'm just looking at procedural rules on it.
Yeah.
And I understand where it's coming from. We had an issue similar down in council about appointment of chairs.
Yeah, it's getting in advance of it, so we don't have the July, August,
And that puts you
mid-September.
in from right the way through, whoever, sorry,
Yes.
to deal with any issues.
Yeah.
Right, accept that. Just procedural.
And so, members, can I ask then that we consider whether to reappoint the chair for the 26-27 municipal year? Councillor Nelson?
Can I propose that we continue with the incumbent?
Does anybody second that motion?
Second.
Should be fantastic. And I'll pass back over to yourself, Councillor, for recommendations B to D.
Yeah, thank you. We go to the vice chair first, do we? Just have a look at the tables.
If you'd like to.
I think the vice chair would be sensible if we talk about chairs. We've got a vacancy for vice chair because Rachel wasn't re-elected mid-article. Do you have any nominations for vice chair? I would like to nominate Ian if he'd accept that nomination.
If there's no other nomination, I would chair.
Okay. There's a second. There's any other nominations?
No, I'll second Ian.
Yes. Well, you got that, okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Just trying to find where the list is.
2.5.
What page is it on? That's right. Oh, I am on the page. Oh, I'm on the wrong one. Let's go to this time. It's actually an LGBT one. This one? The next one. There you go, scroll down. Page 13. Page 13, sorry. Sorry, everyone. I should have taken 13, shouldn't I? So scroll down. Right. From that. The thematic leads. Can we agree to just reappoint the existing thematic leads?
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Is everyone happy with that? Thank you.
Vacant position in education.
And there's a vacant position for thematic lead for education and skills. I would like to recommend Lynn Hall. Would you accept that, Lynn? Yeah? There's a seconder. Is everyone happy with that? Thank you. Yeah, that's everything for that. Yeah, so thank you very much. We'll close that meeting and we'll welcome the Mayor Ben to the next meeting.